No, not more.
Mhm.
You got a little grid on the side.
Okay, I'll let him do it.
Okay, the gallery.
You see the grid?
There we go. I got it.
You got it?
Gallery, yeah. John said he's not.
Okay, it's live now.
Yeah.
So you guys can start whenever you're ready.
Little grid on the side.
Okay.
Okay, I'll let him do it.
Did you hear me,
Okay, the
Mayor?
gallery. I heard you. There we go. I got it.
Okay.
I'd like to call to order. We're going to call the meeting to order. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Committee of the Whole, Monday, May 18th. Let the record reflect that it is 6:43 p.m. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
States of America,
and
and
to
to
the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're right. All right.
Need the roll, Mayor.
This, Trustee, didn't you want to lead us in prayer tonight?
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for bringing us together one more time. Please be with us, guide us, lead us into doing what is best for the village of Dalton. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I have to do the roll
Okay.
call.
You want to take the roll?
Hello, everyone. I am here. I'm going to take the roll. Trustee Denton,
Present.
Trustee Steve. I know he's
Present.
present. I just saw him. Trustee
Present.
House,
Present.
Trustee Brown, Trustee Tammy? Not yet. Trustee Holmes? Not yet. Trustee Henyard?
Present.
Okay, Mayor Rogers, myself, Village Attorney Murphy, Department, Ms. Scott and department heads, I'm sure are out there. Okay, thank you. Back to the mayor.
One moment.
This letter today.
Okay. Any general announcements,
Yeah.
Madam Clerk?
I don't have any, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mayor, if I can do one quick announcement.
Go ahead.
This month, we will have our monthly Finance Committee meeting this Wednesday, which would be May 27th at 5:30 p.m., the final Wednesday of the month to keep on track. So just wanted to announce to everybody, be on the lookout Wednesday, May 27th at 5:30 p.m., the Finance Committee meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. All right, great. All right, order of business. For discussion on item 1, coronavirus
Mayor,
requirements for local businesses. Trustee Henry.
Okay. I got 2 announcements. I guess I'll just make the 2 announcements, then go into my agenda item. Good evening, everybody. The first announcement is I just want to give everybody an update as it relates to the COVID-19. While testing is on the rise, positive COVID-19 infection rates continue to climb. In 60419, that's our area code, 60473, and 60827. Our area code 60419 we tested 1,618 people. 280 people were found infected. In area code 60473, we tested 1,730 people. 313 people were infected. Area code 60827, 1,462 people was tested and 271 were infected. And the reason why I give y'all 3 is so that you can understand the people next door to you, so South Holland and Riverdale. As you guys know, or I guess you may not know, but it's been a total of 10 deaths now. That is up from 6 from the last board meeting that we met. We must be more proactive by doing whatever we can to provide a safe environment for everybody, you guys. So I just want to put that on everybody's minds. That's for the record. One question, I guess, is for the police chief. I don't think he on, so I guess the deputy chief. A lot of residents was concerned as to why was the police chief and other essential village personnel out passing out free meals when we have a reduction in police services in other areas, and they are testing positive for COVID-19. So that's a question that the residents basically forwarded to me, so I'm forwarding it to you guys. Did you want to respond, Lacey?
Chief, is trustee the chief is on right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm the commander. I'm not the deputy chief.
Okay. Well, do you want to respond, Chief?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just got in. I heard the back end of it, trustee.
Okay, this is the question. Why is the police chief and other essential village personnel out passing out free meals when there has been a reduction in police services and our officers are testing positive for COVID-19? That was the question. So if you could just shed some light, that's what residents is asking. If you shed some light to them, that'd be great.
Well, myself, I'm helping them passing out the meals because it's essential to feed the residents or anyone that comes, because they wouldn't come if they didn't need it. I'm not included in the manpower, so there were no officers out there. And however, I do help out there on the street, and I'm out there quite often if that addresses their concern. And I think it's actually a good thing in my position to be out there in the public and so forth.
Okay, well, it's for the residents, so thank you for the response. So hopefully, whoever sent me this, that answers your question. Okay, that's the end of my report, Mayor. Hello?
Yeah, you done with item 1?
No, that was a report. So you want me to start now, or?
A report, we were on announcements.
Okay.
So you said you wanted to give your announcements prior to going into item 1.
Okay, I will continue. Thank you. You guys, I put this on the agenda because I thought it was very essential that we spoke about coronavirus. A lot of times people don't know what's going on. They hear all these different things as it relates to what's going on in our neighborhood. I think we should address it as a board, and we all should be on one accord as we move forward. My key thing is all about safety. How we move, how we continue to open up our village as it relates to safety measures. A concern stores. So, but before I get to the stores, I just want to give y'all a little bit of information of what I am dealing with right now. I've been meeting or basically talking to various service providers that can bring 15-minute COVID-19 tested to the village of Dalton that would determine the following. A, whether the individual is positive or negative for COVID-19. B, whether the individual has previously contracted COVID-19, and C, whether the individual carries the antibodies that can help others suffering from COVID-19. So I'm currently working on that, you guys, and I want you guys to basically do some research with me. I'll send you whatever information you guys need, and hopefully we can talk about this at the next meeting in June. So I just want to put that on everybody's mind. That's for the record. But my main issue is people going into the stores. The problem that I've been having is most businesses are letting people come in without masks. As you guys know, it's been mandated by the governor to basically wear masks starting from the age of 2 on up. Everybody's supposed to have a mask on their face. So I've been getting a lot of complaints that people are basically still servicing the people as they enter the store without a mask. So if you don't have a mask, they should refuse service. So basically I'm advocating that we write a law that states that you must wear a mask in the village of Dalton as you enter any business. I want to protect those people. I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, the person is in the store, don't have a mask on, sneeze, cough, whatever, wipe their face, and then they use the pen pad, which we all use for our credit card. Then you go in next, but you got a mask on. Now you touch it. And now it's transferred to you. So basically, I'm trying to put in some kind of practice, which is already a state law, but we have to make sure we have it enforced locally. So I basically want to get everybody input on it so we can move forward, and hopefully we can have a law in place come next board meeting. So I'm just looking for feedback from everybody. So anybody can chime in or how they feel or what they think we should do.
Mayor, can I be recognized?
Go ahead, trustee House.
Okay. My thought, well, of course, we want to make sure everybody's safe. I believe the state's law, maybe I'll ask Attorney Murphy, is already in place that we should do it. I think it sounds like that's an enforcement thing, whether that's the business or maybe us in writing tickets, but I don't know that we would need a law for that, would be my guess. But I would ask Attorney Murphy if that would be appropriate.
Excuse me. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
The governor's orders are in place, and the governor has said a lot of things about enforcement. From the village's standpoint, I think most local municipalities are doing a few things. Number one, information first. So if there is a business that anybody becomes aware of that that looks like they're ignoring masking, they should notify either Ms. Scott or the chief, and we should talk to them first. Second, simply issuing a citation is something that we can do, but of course it wouldn't be heard in court for who knows how long because the courts are closed. The village would have the option for repeated violation of the order to suspend the business license. So in a tough case, we could do that. Now, based on everything I've read, most municipalities from New York City on down are taking an education approach as opposed to simply writing tickets. New York City has stopped writing tickets, and their position now is let's talk to people and try to persuade them. So to answer the question, we've got tools in place if the board wants to employ them, primarily on the business license. That's what the governor said last week. That's a cough from a pistachio nut. Don't worry, anybody. So beyond that, it's policy. But I really encourage anybody who sees a business that's violating to just let staff know, and we'll reach out to them.
We've got the police doing business checks. On occasion, even the chief has been out and talked to some of the businesses in regards to regulations and what the governor has put in place. I've noticed in some of the businesses, they have posted signs already that says no mask, no service. So I think for the most part, everybody's got the message. But of course, like you said, John, if anybody is seen with not following the rules, the governor's rules, then education should be the first approach. Was there anything more, Trustee Henry?
Okay, just so we clear, I never stated anything about a ticket. I'm stating that we placed a law stating that we too follow the same rules. I understand you guys saying it's on a state level, but us as a local municipality have to do something. If I'm telling you it's an issue, then you guys might need to go in different places and see. I don't know if residents reach out to you like they do me and tell me that people are not basically wearing a mask. We have to do something. So if we put something in place saying it's our law as well, I don't understand why we cannot.
Can I chime in on something also? Just so everyone is aware, this letter, I have a copy of it, was sent out this past week. We're still handing them out to businesses. In that letter, in an effort for us to make the businesses aware, it says, "Dear business owners and managers, the health and safety of our employees and patrons is of the highest priority. According to the Illinois Executive Order 2020/32 by Governor Pritzker, all employees and patrons are required to wear face coverings in all public settings. We also outline how to wear a mask." And then at the end of the letter from the village, it says, "Thank you for your commitment to helping to ensure your business is a safe place to work and shop. Together, we are providing critical services for our community." Here's the letter. We actually had our inspector go out starting last week and also today, because there's over 300 businesses that we have to make contact with. But trustee, we are actually sending it out. And the mayor wanted us to put this out, so we did put it out, and I'll email each one of you a copy right now.
So we're ahead of that, Trustee Henry.
May I be recognized, Mayor?
Go ahead, Trustee Steve.
Like I said, I understand what Trustee Henry is saying, but I don't know if it's a need to make a whole law, because it's already a law from the state or mandate from the state. It's just a matter of enforcing it and then educating at the same time. I think I went to a few businesses and I seen some of the business owners that I know, and I said, hey, you got to get a mask. You need masks. I could bring some masks. So it's a matter of education. It's a matter of education, and I don't know if we got to write a whole law for that, being that it's already came down from the state to do that.
Okay. Anyone else?
I'm just thinking we don't need a law per se. It's people are just gonna do what they want to do. They haven't been under a rock. They know what's going on, and they've heard this over and over on the news. So it's just a matter of us trying to be proactive and maybe give a whistleblower phone number out there that they can call. If a patron sees this going on, maybe they'll call a certain number, and then we can enforce that way.
And the police have been getting some complaints in regard to social distancing, and the police have checked it out. And in some cases, they found it was true when they advised the business, and they complied. And in some cases, it was not true. So I think the police department is up on top of this, and the inspectors. Okay, let's move on. Next one's item 2, 300 West Sibley, trustee Henry.
Okay, thank you. As you guys know, I'm in favor of redevelopment for my community. Bob Michael have been across our board several times, and we have been back and forth as it relates to his development. It has been brought to my attention that we, meaning the village, so I'm assuming the mayor, is not allowing them to move forward with developing 300 West Sibley. So basically today, I would like to hear why we're not letting that individual redevelop that area. They can pull permits, they can start gutting out the building, and not only that, they want to put a grocery store there. I invited them into this meeting. I don't know if they on. Giovanni, did they chime in? Are they on this Zoom call?
Can you give me the name, Trustee Henyard, and I can let you know?
Bob Michael?
Let me see. No, I don't see anyone.
Or maybe he sent his attorney. So I'm trying to see if he on there so we all can get on one accord. Murphy's here, so maybe you can explain to us why they can't move forward, or y'all won't let them move forward, because we do have an agreement with them, which they sued the village of Dalton, and basically they were able to develop that area. So can someone tell me what's the holdup of that, Mayor?
Attorney Murphy, we've been through this several times in the past when Trustee Henry brought this up. You want to refresh your memory again where we're at with this?
Sure. First of all, practically everything that Trustee Henyard said is not accurate. We entered into a settlement agreement with 300 West Sibley in order to try to get this property revitalized and on the tax rolls. At the time we entered into this agreement, the property owner, Mr. Michael, was several $100,000 in default on current and back property taxes. Under the terms of the settlement agreement, the village acquired the property through the Cook County no cash bid process, which the board authorized. After the village board acquired the property through no cash bid, there was a waiting period to see if anybody would attempt to redeem the taxes. Nobody did. In April of this year, the village finally got deed to the property. We are now at the point where we can move forward with establishing a TIF district. Under the settlement agreement, it's now time for the village to move forward to establish the TIF, and I prepared the preliminary ordinance, which the board can look to adopt next meeting. The consultant did a preliminary eligibility study indicating that this property is eligible to be a TIF district. That preliminary study needs to be freshened up, needs to be brought up to date, and so that will need to be done. Once that is done, there's a approximately 60 to 90 day public hearing process, which will establish the TIF. Nothing will happen to this property in terms of development until we have a TIF in place, so that incentives can be offered to the future developer. Now, so everything is on schedule. Let me back up a second. There have been a couple of separate communications I received and passed on relative to potential development, primarily from nightclubs. And I know the board did not want to get involved with nightclubs. Aside from that, any nightclub proposal is a violation of the agreement. In order for the village to move forward under the agreement, we have to receive a development proposal for at least 75% of that space from a sales tax producer, such as a car dealer, a grocery, or a home improvement store. That's the deal. And now that we've gotten the property in the village title, we own this property. The village of Dalton owns this property. And now we just got the property exempt from taxes, so we can have it tiffed, so to speak, in order to move development forward. Now, I hadn't received any communication from the former owner for a long time until I got a copy of the letter that was apparently sent to the board. That letter speaks in terms of somebody who's a wholesaler who has a number of commercial accounts, and it appears that that company is struggling. Certainly understandable given the fact that restaurants and institutions are closed. We're willing to talk to any developer, but I have to say that based on what we've looked at, this developer's expertise is in wholesale, not retail. So if a wholesale distribution facility were allowed to operate in that at that facility, first of all, I don't think that anybody's has the cash right now to do the extensive renovation work that would be required to bring that property up to code and make it into a facility. But more importantly, wholesale produces zero sales tax. So that would not be consistent with the agreement and what the village wants. So my recommendation is, first of all, we are now in a position to move forward. If the board approves, I'll get in touch with the consultant to bring the TIF eligibility report up to date. Then the board can adopt the ordinance to start the TIF process. Some of you may be aware that under the TIF ordinance, we have to have public hearings and we have to review the matter with all of the taxing bodies, including both school districts, the county, and any other taxing body that's on the bill. So that's what's called the Joint Review Board. So that all takes time. Finally, I would encourage the developer or the would-be developer to introduce himself by contacting Ms. Scott, and we can see what's going on. But that's the status of the agreement. The village, nobody's turned down anything. The board has been made aware that what the process has been. We kept the board up to date as we've gone forward. It's moving on schedule in accordance with the processes of Cook County for exemption and title through the village. Any questions?
Yep. Okay. Thank you for trying to correct me, but you're wrong on some things, but I don't want to turn this into an argument or debate. I've been on that board, 7 years, so I know this inside out of what's going on with this deal and how we treated this individual.
Wait a minute. We have not mistreated this individual.
Let me finish. I didn't interrupt you because I didn't want to turn it into a debate. So let me just get what I want out, then I can let you talk. What I don't like is how, you guys always tear somebody down and you want to tell people what they can't afford or can't buy. First of all, you give somebody the due process and we see if that developer can do what they're stating. You just sit here saying, well, they're in trouble, they this, they that. How did you speak to them? I invited them to this call and I'm trying to understand why you guys not allowing them to come in on the Zoom call. That way we can get this understood, their attorney and your attorney. So now we all on one accord. So they don't have to reach out to any trustee and say what we're not doing. We all here at this meeting and we all can get an understanding and move forward. That's the issue number one. Everyone has their information. I emailed it, what was that, Thursday? I sent to Mary Kay as well. She emailed it out. So if you wanted to reach out, you are the village attorney, you could have did so to make sure you had clarity of what is going on and what people wanted. But no one does that here. That's the problem. No one talks to anybody. We rather throw people under the bus than to communicate and move forward. That place is vacant. It's been vacant for years and it still look like a dump. I'm tired of that. I would love to see that redeveloped. Whether you're saying they're going to be a wholesaler or a retailer, they told me they're doing both. So you want to sit here and say they just doing wholesale, there's no sales tax, they're doing retail. Retail, which we need. We need a hub. We need a food restaurant slash grocery store. As you can see, food is scarce. COVID is here. We don't know if that's going to end now or if it's going to end next year. So why will we sit here and say no to a developer and you ain't even getting them a chance to talk yet? I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. And I understand when people say why they don't come to Dalton to do deals because of this right here. So again, can y'all check to see if the guy's on the line or allow him to get access to this meeting so we can get this understood and not just go off of what you're saying, Murphy?
Can I respond? Are you done, Trustee Henry?
Yes, I am.
All right. First of all, I ended up by saying the potential developer should contact the village administrator. That's the way we move forward with any potential development. In terms of the challenges faced by the developer, that's not my words. Those are Mr. Michael's words. Quote, fresh start, quote, due to the pandemic, while his restaurant business has severely faltered, he is challenged to meet the needs of his other obligations and his need of expansion and development into this location. I'm just quoting what Mr. Michael put in his letter. So let me repeat, because I remember you being in court a few times on his behalf. The village is living up to the agreement. It takes time to wipe out $1 million worth of back taxes. The village owns the property. We're moving forward. And I encourage the potential developer, I have his name, it's a name begins with a K. I encourage him to contact Ms. Scott tomorrow to set up a meeting so the village can learn something about this person. I'm sure the board would be interested in hearing something about who this potential wholesaler slash retailer owned by Mr. John Kappadopoulos. Any questions from any other board members?
Mayor, can I speak?
Who is that?
Can you hear me?
Okay, Trustee Brown, go ahead.
This is Trustee Brown.
I hear you.
Okay, so this potential developer, can we get anything on his background? Will we be forwarded anything on this potential developer before the next board meeting? Can you hear me?
The only thing I got was Friday, and it was this letter. I know zero about this developer other than what I've looked at from the Illinois Secretary of State Business and other internet sources this morning.
Okay, well, me, myself, I can't speak for other trustees. Like some information on this potential background, what he's previously done, what he plans to do. So that's just my intake on it. I would like some additional information if it's provided.
May I be recognized, Mayor?
Go ahead, Trustee.
I think the Attorney Murphy said it right. Let's send it through the normal process. Have the man reach out to the village administrator, have him reach out to the mayor. Let's go through the normal process of anything to get any business establishment here. And let's go from there. You know, and this is the first, from my understanding of village administrator, this is the first you heard about it through the email. So just have them reach out through the necessary change. I understand there's history there. Like Attorney Murphy said, there was court cases and people attended court cases. There may be some personal connection there, but let's send it through the necessary channel.
Yeah, well, also, you know, Attorney Murphy mentioned the fact of the process for the TIF agreement. We're on schedule in regards to moving the TIF forward. It's not a quick process, like he said, the public hearing. So I think along with the potential person that's interested in the property, getting some information in his proposal also starting the TIF process because that's going to take a while also.
Attorney Murphy, how much longer for the TIF? Because I remember we had approved that. So how much longer? You got a time frame on all of this?
If I can get board authorization tonight to call the consultant, you may remember the company's name, Kane McKenna. Does that ring a
Yeah, we
bell
paid
to the board?
$30,000 to. Mhm.
Right, they did the preliminary eligibility report, meaning, does this property qualify for TIF treatment? Now, that was over a year ago. So we need to have him finalize that. So if it's okay with the board, I'll call him tomorrow to get that finalized.
Yeah, I mean, who absorbs this cost, Attorney Murphy? Who absorbs the cost for, going forward to set up this TIF district?
Well, initially the village does it, but once the TIF district is established, we're entitled to reimburse ourselves from the property taxes that would be generated by a new retail development.
And we've already got how much into this already on the previous the preview of the consulting?
I believe the last I checked, I don't know if the village has paid recently, but last I checked, there was a bill for about $6,000 from the consultant.
And it's more than that, John. I know that, but I didn't know the exact amount. But okay. All right. Anything further on this?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, Mayor, can I be recognized?
Go ahead, Trustee House.
Just briefly, or my comment on it is, I think if it's been through a settlement process already in court, that we just want to make sure we're following what the court settlement says. From what Attorney Murphy says, it sounds like we are. I think that it would be, if the other attorney was on, that would be nice. So we would make sure that there's maybe some kind of agreement, a meeting of the minds, because maybe there's not. I'm not sure, but as long as we're following the court order, then I say we should just proceed, so that way we don't incur any further litigation.
I'll go ahead and contact the consultant then, to get this thing finalized. That is part of the deal.
Anything further? Anyone?
Nope, that's it.
All right, next thing on the agenda, removal of Chamber of Commerce dues from business license fees. Trustee House.
Okay, I added this one to the agenda last year when we did some fee increases, and part of it did incorporate $100. Well, $100 being given to the Chamber of Commerce to enhance our business community. The Chamber of Commerce, and I've spoken with the president and the vice president of the chamber. I actually invited the president, planned to be on. I think he was having some challenges with the connection. So if I can ask really quickly, Giovanni, do you see Jonah Robinson attempting to sign on in any capacity, or maybe JR's Jerk?
No, I don't see him.
Okay, well, I did.
I'm sorry. Have you talked to him?
Yes, I spoke with him as well as with Brittany Norwood regarding that. They were in agreement that for moving forward while they continue. They've done some work, or they had some plans of things they wanted to bring to the business community. They had a couple of events, but I did want them to speak on their own behalf. However, the activity level isn't, at least for me, what I hoped we would have seen from that fee. So I put this on here as to get board input or feedback on revising the fee, so that way the business owners at this time would not incur could voluntarily join the Chamber of Commerce, but not have it listed as part of the fees on the village fee business sticker. So I kind of opened up for that, and if it's okay with the board, I would like to move to the next agenda, or to our next meeting for a vote.
Yeah. From what I understand, there's been really little activity by the chamber, and we did collect the fees last year. Well, I'm not sure if it was just last year or the year before, but I know just last year. And this year we are not collecting the fees due to the fact there has not been any activity. So with this COVID-19 going on, there has been a delay in issuing business licenses. So there has not been any fees charged with in regards to the chamber. Now, I would suggest us actually having a conversation with the chamber and see what they're going to do activity wise. And if they're not going to be proactive, that we probably do away with that, that additional fee.
And Mayor, if I may, I did speak with the president and vice president. They were in agreement at this time. They still have intentions and some plans of things they want to do, but they would use any money that they already have to get things started and come back to us. So it was a pretty amicable meeting, and I think Jonah wanted to join us as well, because I did have a couple of conversations as recently as 15 minutes ago with him.
Right.
So he's in agreement. I just want to make sure that our ordinance and paperwork lines up with what we are indicating right now. But it's not so much a knock. I think they've had their own challenges, like a lot of companies do, and they intend on doing good things for the community. But right now, the activity level hasn't matched the planning that they've done.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else on that?
Yeah. Well, I totally agree with that. I did speak to Trustee House as it relates to the chamber and the complaints I got. A lot of business owners was upset that we forced them to join the chamber, and you guys held their business license up in order for them to pay the $100 to the chamber. I didn't understand how it's that we took the $100 and we gave them the entire amount. I don't know, it was $25,000, $30,000, and they haven't done nothing over a year for the business community. Normally when someone joins a chamber, they're looking for finances, some kind of benefit to their business, and we haven't had any. So I was pushing as well to dissolve our agreement with them and no longer take that $100. So I agree with you, Trustee House.
Anyone else?
I have a question for Trustee House. When you talked to the president and vice president, what was their intent? They tell you what they wanted to do, what the things they want to do, or what was they going to do with the $100 they collected?
Well, the intention, I think the chamber some years ago, I was a member of the chamber too, so I could speak from kind of a couple of different veins. But there's been some challenges over the years with the chamber in terms of getting consistent enrollment and having enough funding. Years ago, they would get funding from, and it looks like the president just joined us, so I'll let him kind of jump in a moment. But I know they used to get some activity from bingo at the Dorchester years and years ago when they used to get it. After that, I think their revenue stream had gone down, and it's been a challenge of maintaining a steady cash flow to put back in. So it's kind of a chicken or egg of wanting to show the things that they're able to do for the community while with unlimited funds, or can we invest in the chamber so that the chamber can twofold invest back with us. So I want to see if Mr. Robinson, because I do see him linked in here, may be better able to answer what the intention was. I think that my conversation that I've had with him, as well as the vice president, and and I've seen them do some activities. I think for me, I wanted to see more activity for what we were doing. However, I think that they've been straightforward with us, and I'm grateful that he's on here to speak on behalf of the chamber. Well, did he drop off?
Hello.
Here we go. Hey, Jonah, how are you? You got good timing, sir.
Oh, okay. Right. It took me a minute to get on the app. I was trying to find it.
Okay.
I'm here to ask.
You joined right in as we were. We talked about the $100 fee being removed off of moving forward for the chamber while you guys are restructuring. The question that just came from Trustee Brown was what was the intention, and kind of what have you seen in the past year, and what are you looking at for the chamber moving forward, or what kind of relationship with the village?
Oh, well, the transparency as far as with the businesses, that's the main thing that we really trying to accomplish with the village, as far as being part and partial with grand openings, resources, and being that offer things, more opportunities for the business as far as marketing, starting a newsletter. I'm the president pro temp, so to speak, because of our original president, Tom Wapple. He had died, and I wasn't the vice president, so I had to step up and step up to the plate. So we were having low membership, as far as like we had a lot of members that are our members, but they never come out to the actual meetings. So in the past, we've put on some things and we had great results. We did a luncheon. We've done tax things. A lot of the trustees showed up, the mayor as well, Liz, everybody, you know, supporting. The main thing now is just trying to get the businesses together. We got a lot of members now, and we've been out talking, and we get together with a lot of the members and they come out and support all of our functions that we do. But things have been on a pause since as of late because of the COVID and us trying to restructure as far as getting our board together. So that's another thing we're working on as well, is getting our board together so we can implement a few more of the business events in the community, like, you know, sponsoring things for, you know, we open the ideas as well. So, you know, we've been here for about 4 years now, active in Dalton, actually doing things. A lot of people show up. Sometimes it's just events with just 4 or 5 of us there, but you all know how that go, you know, as far as, you know, trying to get people out. But in the late part, before the COVID, we had a great start. Things was looking up. But once this is over, we're eager to get back started and working harder with the village as far as sponsoring events, putting things on, because, you know, we're a volunteer-based organization. So, you know, that's pretty much. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
I do have a question. So the $100 that you actually collected already, are there intentions for that? Tonight is that this is affected. So what are your plans? What are your intentions? I know COVID has put a hold on a lot of things right now, but moving forward after this is over, with the funds that you have collected, what are your intentions?
Well, the funds that we collected are basically like membership fees for you to be a member of the chamber, which in return, we're offering the transparency with the village. We're offering resources. We have a lot of things that we're offering. We're teaming up with other chambers, and we're trying to get the businesses off the ground. You know, like other chambers, South Holland, Matson. You know, we're affiliated with them, the Black Chamber of Commerce. So we're following their footsteps as far as trying to, you know, learn the rhythm of the chamber. So with the $100 that we have gotten is like basically a membership fee. And I think that now is not a good time to be collecting any more money as far as membership fees for the chamber until we actually get up and running and being able to show the results of what their $100 as a members is what they're paying for, you know, because I'm a business owner as well in the village. And I know a lot of other business owners and they ask me that question all the time. But, you know, they also don't complain because they say, hey, it's a mere $100, you know, JR, when you all get the chamber up and running, just go ahead and get started and show us what you all got. So we basically using the money now to build events. You got, we teaming up with Dalton Park District with the business brunch every year. You know, we making, you know, we got an agenda. If you all would like to see it, I would like to present that to you all as well in writing. We have an agenda that I can actually show you all what our plans are for 2020.
Can you please forward that agenda to the trustee?
Okay. I would do that as soon as possible, you know, within the rest of this week before the week is over with.
And Mike, how many businesses do we have on the roster?
Well, my secretary, she has the exact amount, Brittany Janelle, she has the exact amount of the bid, but it's majority, I can say right now it's at like 80 businesses in the village.
Okay. At $100 a business, okay.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, how much money did you guys collect from us? What was the check that Dalton gave you? How much was that?
I don't have that in front of me right now, but it's paperwork, so you actually can get that. I don't have it in front of me, but
yeah, but estimate
to you as well. But I'm sure that you all have that
Hey, Joan, if I can give an estimate. I had some emails with it. It was estimated at close to $10,000.
Yes.
But I have it in email format. I can email to the board after the meeting.
Okay, Jonah, how much of that money do you guys have left?
We haven't spent any of it, like not a dime.
So you still
We
got
haven't
10K?
Yeah, we got all, I think it's even more than that, you know, in the account from previous years that we had before. But
Okay.
yeah, we haven't spent any money because there's nothing to spend it on right now, you know. So you know, and any type of money that we do spend, we have to spend it on things that has to do with business in the village and some of the events that's gonna help. So it's good to get with planning and with you, Tiffany, and try to figure out exactly, you know, what other things we can do with this money as far as helping the village with the businesses. So I think it's a good thing. You know, we haven't touched not a dime of it because we haven't had any events, you know.
Okay. So are you willing to give the money back since y'all still got it and didn't do anything with it for a year? Are you willing to refund the business community their $100 back?
I don't feel that is necessary because we actually trying to make strides with this money. This is not just no play money to just have and be holding around. This when this thing open up, we're gonna need all the resources and everything that we can get. You know, it's gonna be a lot of events that even you trying to do. It's gonna things you have to say, hey, JR, you know what? It's a good thing. Why don't we do this with that and try to figure out, you know, how we can help these businesses because all the businesses need help. We suffering right now. You know,
okay.
So you know, anything that we have, it's only for membership, you know, and I don't feel like we took anything or all the businesses were willing to participate in this. This is a social thing, you know, this event, this is for us to grow with, you know, it's not, you know, like get the money back. I mean, for what? You know, we trying to grow.
Okay.
Okay,
The
Mr.
reason
Rob-
why I'm suggesting it is because a lot of business owners were stating that you guys didn't do nothing. Can they have their $100 back based on it is COVID-19 and based on they have no funds. A lot of people business is not open. So I am curious to know what is the plan moving forward. Whenever you do forward that to Trustee Brown, forward it to me as well. And then can you please send me a list of whatever you guys have done? You said you hosted events or done stuff in the past. So can you send me that too?
Yeah, well, we've done things. I'm pretty sure you've known about them, or you know, you've known they were active and never showed up, you know. But I mean, I never seen you at none of the events that we've thrown. I'm pretty sure you've known about them.
Yeah. All right,
No,
Mr.
I did.
Mr.
I don't know
You
anything
can't-
about
you
any
can't-
events that
you
you have
can't
thrown.
sit
That's why I'm
there
saying
and say
send it to me.
You can't
Okay.
sit and say you don't like we don't exist, you know, like you don't haven't never heard of us before.
Y'all not
Okay,
active. Y'all not active.
Mr. Robinson, thank you for your input. If you wanted to forward that information to the trustees,
Yes,
that'll be
sir.
fine. And but right now, I would suggest that, and I think you're in agreement with this, that we suspend the $100 fee right now, especially since this COVID-19 is going on, and then move forward with your activities for the 2020 with the chamber activities.
Yes, sir.
So if we can get a consensus on that, then we can move forward to the next item.
Okay, I'll get all that the proper information to you all, so it'll be on your desk. Trustees, may I thank you all for your time.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's just move on to the next thing. Item 4, establishment of a multi-jurisdictional task force to deter street gangs, narcotics, and criminal activity. Chief Mobley, you there?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm seeking approval and vote for intergovernmental agreement established between multi-jurisdictions, the four different municipalities. If you all had a chance to look at the packet, it has the resolution in it as well as the outlay of the whole packet. This task force will be between Dalton, Riverdale, Holland, and Thornton. It would be geared to deter street gangs, narcotics, and criminal activity.
Yeah, that bitch.
Is there any questions from any of the board members?
No.
I don't have a packet. I'm sorry. Did I miss something?
Clerk Dugan, are you there? It was, Trustee Denton, it was sent out with the board agenda.
Yes, I am here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just answering Trustee Denton. It was sent out with the board agenda. One was
Yes,
the
I did hear
resolution.
the question. I'm sorry if I'm talking over you. That was emailed to everyone per usual Thursday afternoon. And also it is available on the SharePoint on the web, on your tablets.
I got
So
it.
everyone got it?
Yes, thank you.
You may have, if you're looking at the email version from Thursday, trustee, I do apologize. I just noticed today that it was printed out double page, both sides, and scanned one page at a time. So some of the pages are missing. So for the full document, I can forward it to you right now.
That'll be great.
Yeah, I can do that because rather than trying to decipher every other page. Otherwise, the corrected version is on SharePoint. And pardon me for not being correct. I'll do that right now.
Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
if I may ask quickly, this right here, would this be a formal vote, or would this be pushing it forward to the next meeting for a formal vote?
Right, nothing tonight is for formal vote. It's all for discussion. So it would be on the next agenda if there's a consensus.
I'm definitely in agreement.
Okay, I'll still go ahead and forward it to Trustee Denton. Anyone else? Okay.
Okay, basically what this is doing is adding another version of manpower to not only our community, but to the communities that are joining in this task force. It would put more manpower on the street to confront and combat these gang activity and narcotics. And we want to try to put this in place prior to the weather getting warm, and we're starting to see that now. So, if we can get a consensus for everybody, I think it's good that we're putting additional manpower in place to be proactive instead of reactive.
Also, if I may chime in, this won't be a everyday thing. They will have a schedule, so they may be out once, twice a week. But like the mayor stated, it will take our own two-man team from 2 men to a eight-man personnel, from 1 car to 4 cars, driven through each of the community and all the hot spots or targeted areas.
So, Chief, there won't be any additional costs with this to the village, right?
No.
Okay.
With the 2 bodies that we will supply, they will when the
regular work shifts.
It'll be a regular work shift for them on that day, and when they're not with the joint task force, they'll go back as a 2-man tag team.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on this? I'd like to move on. Okay. Next one is item 5, establishment of local traffic violations. Commander Lacey.
Yes, sir. Good evening, trustee. Good evening, mayor and chief. What this is basically for trucks that are going through the village. As we know, they can cause a lot of havoc as far as the roads go, as far as going through town. What ended up happening, I talked with the deputy chief, I talked with the chief, I got with surrounding towns in reference to ordinances that would generate revenue for our town, as far as trucks, as far as vehicles speeding up and down the streets, as far as loud music like we're starting to hear now that our traffic unit can in fact enforce. So what I'm trying to do right now is get an okay after you guys vote on it to start enforcing these traffic ordinances, which it would in fact generate quite a bit of revenue to the village and would not go to Markham. Also, in doing my research, I learned that Dalton is not a truck route for in the village. They have, when they get off of 94, they can go east to Torrance. And then if they're going west, it doesn't pick up or is allowed until 57. So that being said, it was learned that we're not a truck route. Now, if they're doing business in town, they're okay, but they would have to show their paperwork, which any trucker, valid trucker would in fact do. So that being said, if you have any questions in reference to the ordinances that are in front of you, I can answer any questions that may be needed.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm fine, trustee.
Good. What about the rail yard that's there, 147th and States Avenue? You got a lot of trucks going back and forth, utilizing that rail yard.
You do. With the rail yard, they are able to go through town to that rail yard. They're allowed 1.5 miles from town to town. From when they start in Dalton or they start in Cal City, Riverdale, or even on Indiana or South Holland, they are in fact allowed to go to the rail yard. Now, this is basically designed for trucks that are going through town. And what I did was also got with the state police, I got with the Illinois Department of Transportation, and also kind of like went a step further and stopped a few truckers going through town and just talked to them and asked them. And I says, hey, I says, you guys know this isn't a truck route. And they said, yeah, we know. So this is something that has not been enforced, that has always been in place, but we have not been collecting the revenue from it. And this right here is a good revenue producer.
All right, great. Any more questions?
Yeah, I got one.
Yes, trustee.
How are you gonna use the manpower to collect the revenue if we're scarce with the manpower?
Well,
who we gonna use to do that?
Sure. There's already a traffic unit in place with the mayor and the chief and the deputy chief's approval. It's a 3-man team, including myself. So it doesn't affect the manpower. We already have the manpower to do this. This is something that was created probably about maybe a month or 2 ago, maybe 3, that was put in place and doesn't affect the manpower. So it's not taken away. Matter of fact, it is actually adding to, if there's a major situation, then we can in fact respond. Matter of fact, we will respond to whatever goes on that we need to respond to.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. You basically want to pull over trucks that's going out of their route, that's not on the right route, correct?
It actually goes with trucks. It also has motor vehicles that are in violation of the violations that are in front of you. So it's just not limited to trucks, but trucks are one of the focal points that will be done.
Okay, and what do you guys do with those? I don't know if that's a motorcycle, what it is them kids be riding on. What do y'all do about that?
Are we talking about the mini bikes, or are we talking about full-blown motorcycles?
I think it's a mini bike, yeah. Make a lot of noise.
Sure. Well, mini bikes are actually in violation also. They are not supposed to be on a street or road because they're actually a motor vehicle. So which means they can be fined and they can also be towed if they're caught.
So what's the protocol for that? Do you give a warning, or you take their stuff, or how does that go? Well,
what'll happen is they can be ticketed and it can be towed. Because they're not supposed to be on any road as far as riding in the street or on the sidewalk. There are locations that they're supposed to take those things to ride on.
Okay. Question. And then wait, one more, and I'm done. One more. What revenue y'all brought in? You said y'all been doing this for a month since you guys been pulling people over or writing tickets. What revenue have you generated for that month? Can you get that to me if you don't know it?
Okay, I can honestly say at this point, I do not know it. I can say that it can be gotten to you, but when the COVID-19 hit, it kind of like hampered what we were doing.
Okay. Can you give us an overview? So what was you guys doing? I'm just learning. What was you guys doing? Just pulling over? That's it?
I'm sorry?
I said, what was you guys doing? The 3-man team, what was y'all doing?
We were enforcing traffic, any traffic violations with the IBC, any local ordinance violations, we were in fact enforcing.
Oh, okay.
This right here would generate more revenue. Instead of it going to Markham, it would in fact come to the village.
All right, Trustee Steve.
Question I got on the dirt bikes, is that, would that be just a call to 911 to report it? And if you did call to report it, what's the level of importance that's put on that compared to the other things that's going on in the village? Because that I see the bikes ride up and down. I know they're near my block, and I'm tempted to call 911, but I just know that on when things go, especially this warm summertime coming, the level of importance of a call like that versus per se a domestic. So what's the level of importance put on that?
Well, with the level of, and when you say the level of a call, what are you specifically referring to? Are you referring to domestics, or are you referring to?
No. If you see dirt bikes riding up and down the street,
that's a function of the traffic unit.
Traffic unit. Okay.
Now that I mean, if a patrol unit sees it, they can enforce it also. But the function of the traffic unit is to, in fact, enforce traffic violations.
And would that be a regular 911 call for a resident?
You know what? I mean, I can't say what a resident's going to do as far as making a call for a violation like that. But if they call 911, of course, we're going to get the call. If they call regular 841, then they're going to switch it to the dispatch center, to whereas we would still get the call.
Okay, thank you.
One of the things I might mention is that in regards to the revenue from the traffic unit started out great until this COVID-19 thing hit. And they were writing tickets for the court, but as you know, as you may not know, the courts are closed. And these court dates have been extended for some of the tickets that they have wrote earlier. But, and I also want to say the traffic unit, their primary function is handling traffic and traffic accidents. The thought process of putting this traffic unit in place was to make sure that traffic violations and to make sure there's compliance, because we got a number of complaints in regards to stop signs, speeding, improper parking, and things like that. And the other thing is that the traffic unit handles the accidents when they're on duty, and that takes that police officer, the normal patrol officer, it leaves him on patrol while the accidents are being handled by the traffic unit. So so they're doing a great job. They have kind of temporarily been reassigned since this COVID to handling other duties, but as soon as this thing goes back in place, and we expect to have a little break in it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, June 1st, where the traffic unit and the TAC unit can go back into the regular operation.
Yeah, actually, that's correct, Mayor. I was really trying to follow the guidelines of the governor and the STEP program, but as of right now, we got a hard date of June 1st of starting the traffic unit back up, as well as the TAC team.
Okay, great. Let's go to the next item. Next item is emergency incident recovery proposal. That's Trustee House.
Okay, this item I was working with Chief Dyer, and then as well as Engineer McCain, and we're gonna hold that because there were some proposals that they wanted to include for this packet. So we're gonna try to work together to get that either added to the Finance Committee meeting, or we'll hold it till the next Committee of the Whole. I think Chief Dyer, did you have any comments you wanted to make on that?
No, we brought this in front of the board a couple of times, so we just wanted to make sure we had all the information together and all the information that we could gather, and in order for them to make a good decision. It's as they may or may not know, it's just in order to recover monies for accidents, fires, extrication, any kind of special functions that the fire department does. And we just want to make sure we have all the information that we can when we present it to them.
Okay, thank you. So Mayor, if it's okay, I want to pull that one back, and then and I can move into the next one if that's okay.
Okay, that's great. The next one also, Trustee House, is the item number 7, establishment of the video gaming push tack. This is by you, Trustee House. I want to make a comment on this prior to you talking about this. Okay. As you well know, there's another community, I'm not going to mention its name. They have this in place. It's being challenged by the Supreme Court right now. I would suggest that we probably table this and maybe talk about it later until we see exactly what the Supreme Court says. John?
Yeah, good evening again, everybody. It's a public record, so no need not to mention it. Oak Lawn was one of the first to adopt this penny a push. Oak Lawn has now been sued by the association. The matter is pending in court. In addition, there's before the virus hit, Representative or State Senator Robert Rita has proposed legislation that would prohibit local municipalities from penny a push. So I think the best course of action for the board is wait and see what happens in the court in Springfield.
Yeah, Mayor, may I comment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. No, and well, initially when I put it on there, I did. I had heard about it. I think I got some information from yourself, and another resident actually mentioned it to me. After bringing it on there, I did speak with Attorney Murphy about the litigation. So I do think moving it forward will be premature. However, I did still want to have it on the agenda just for discussion amongst the board, amongst other revenue raising sources, or just to identify that we are looking at other ways to do it. But I think I'm in agreement. We want to hold off until the court ruling, because no need to walk right into a lawsuit that may be a losing lawsuit if we have a case study ahead of us. But if this does go in favor of the municipality, it's something I would advocate for us doing as a way to raise revenue without the residents being assessed any charges. But I'm in agreement with pulling it for now.
Trustee, quick question. Do you have any understanding of how much we currently get?
I don't. Attorney Murphy sent that one to me. I don't have this number off the top of my head. Right at
Yes,
it's around 200.
Yeah, let me mention that when I was talking with Jason regarding this, I pulled from the gaming board. Dalton's revenues from gaming for 2019 were just almost exactly $200,000. I know that finance, I think you've got a meeting, Jason, Wednesday or Thursday?
Oh, next week, Wednesday. So not this Wednesday, a week from
Wednesday. I think, another one of the challenges the board is going to face, we'll have to take into consideration or make an assumption that gaming revenue will be down, let's say 50%. So that right away is another, potentially $100,000 hole in our budget that the board will have to address. So for 2019, almost exactly 200,000. To date in 2020, the municipal share is 47. So Jason, I think I sent you those reports from the gaming board. You'll have them. If not, let me know.
Yeah, I got them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there's no further. I'd like to go into citizens address.
One more, I want to make one announcement, Mayor.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trustee Steve.
I didn't get a chance to say this at the beginning, but this Thursday, I want to have a Public Works / Melanie Fitness Committee meeting. That will be this Thursday at 5:30. Everybody will get an email about it. Dealing with the Melanie Fitness, we have to make some serious decisions on this Melanie Fitness. So it's going to come before the committee, to the finance committee, then to the board. But the reality with this COVID-19, and the village was already subsidizing it, and me and I were going to lose a lot of money. So we have to really, look at the numbers and make some hard decisions. So stay tuned for that meeting. That's coming up this Thursday.
Okay. All right. Citizens address. How are we doing the citizens address?
All right, we have a few questions that have come in so far, so I'll just go ahead and read them one by one. One person asked, will Dalton designate a riding location for such dirt bike vehicles?
It's a good question. I mean, there's I don't know any area that we can actually designate for dirt riding vehicles. I see a lot of the dirt bikes are being transported on trailers now. Where they go to ride them, I'm not sure.
Okay, I have another question. It says, this question is directed to Trustee Holmes. Aren't you over the police committee meeting? We haven't had one since you've been in office. Now during COVID-19 would be a great time to have one.
Is Trustee Holmes on? I don't think Trustee Holmes is on.
I don't think he was able to get on the meeting, Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know, what,
You
I
can
can,
forward that on to him.
okay, I can email it out like we did last time for any questions that don't go unanswered tonight. There's another question that says, I've been a resident for about 20 years and am appreciative of our police officers, but haven't heard from them in a while. When is the next police committee meeting?
That's Trustee Holmes' committee.
Okay, I could chime in on that. Actually, the June 27th would be the last Saturday of June. Depending on how this COVID situation is going, it was my thoughts and that we may possibly have a Zoom meeting, and maybe the last Saturday in July, people will feel more comfortable coming out. To the resident that put that out there, and to anyone that's listening, if you all would actually like to meet, we could possibly have a meeting June 27th and do the social distancing where we will space the chairs out. So I would definitely like some feedback with that. But as of right now, I'm looking to have one via Zoom, and it will be on the Dalton's channels as well as streaming live on Facebook. But if citizens are feeling comfortable about actually meeting, then we could construct that in a large enough space where we can have the chair spaced out. So I would like some feedback on that. Thank you.
Okay, great. Giovanni?
All right, the next question is it at all possible to take care of the flooding in the easement area between the tracks and the houses by 138th and Indiana Avenue?
To take care of the flooding, 138th and Indiana Avenue near the tracks. You know, last night was extremely wet, I can say. I think we got about 3.5 to 4 inches of rain. I've noticed that a lot of the suburbs, including our town and our neighboring towns in north and south, had flood issues. I'm not particularly sure if that one particular place is isolated to flooding only more than other places, but we can take a look at it and see. Is Matt on? Hello?
I believe.
No,
Mayor, can you hear me?
Yeah. So Matt, you could possibly take a look at that if you will.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that tomorrow. I'll go back there and see if there's still any flooding. That area does flood with the heavy rainfall, but you got to look against a lot of the runoff from the railroad. And I know the railroad is looking to, they're starting with a project with all that utilities back there now. They're going to be removing one of their tracks on maybe the south side of those tracks right there, and they're going to be putting a retention pond in to kind of ease the flooding back there. Myself and Ron have been talking with them and keeping up with it, but we will go and check it out tomorrow, see if it's flooded back there still.
Okay. All right, Giovanni.
All right, we have another question. It says, do you all have the date that non-essential businesses can look to reopening?
We don't. We're kind of right now following the governor's orders. They said, I'm not sure exactly. Elizabeth, are you there? I'm not sure exactly when the next phase is going to start. I think it was June 1st. Giovanni, do you have that schedule?
I don't have it in front of me. I don't want to go off memory and cite anything incorrectly, but I know it is definitely not before June 1st for sure.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Let's see. Nope, that's it. We just have other comments, but there are no other questions.
Okay, Mayor, that attorney is, I guess, online now with us, Dan, for the grocery store. Dan, are you there? Giovanni, is the attorney there? Dan,
Dan Garbus, yeah, he's there.
can he not hear us?
Yes, hi, it's Dan Garbus. How you doing?
Hey, oh, can you? Hey, Dan. Attorney Murphy, are you there?
Attorney Murphy left with citizens address.
Okay. Okay, well, can he give an overview since he's on now?
I would suggest him make an appointment with with Administrator Scott, and that you include Attorney Murphy at this time.
Oh, wow. Okay, can he get an overview of what he does or anything? It was 2 questions by Trustee Brown that she had. Can she get her questions answered since he's here?
I would suggest to make an appointment with Administrator Scott, just as Attorney Murphy has suggested.
Yep. So I'm lost. Why we can't make it with you if he here? No, he got to talk to you?
Because the attorney recommended.
May I be recognized? Mr. Gabris, the best way to do this is not, the best time to introduce this is not at a board meeting on a Zoom call. Make the appointment with the village administrator and go from there. It's the best way to do it.
Oh, okay, Ed. Thank you, wannabe mayor. I was talking to the mayor. Well,
Okay.
I was asking mayor, hold on. I was asking for the simple
Trustee
fact
Henry.
to get the
Trustee
right
Henry.
answer because you're here, we're all here. And this is the best time to do a CAL meeting. We normally discuss whatever the issues are. That's what this is for. It's discussion. There's no vote. It's to hear people out. And it's like, you guys don't want to hear. I'm not
Trustee
understanding that. We all are here.
I answered your question, Trustee Henry. Attorney Murphy makes a suggestion. Mr. Garbus, all due respect, could you just make an appointment and we'll all sit down and
Yeah, I have no problems making an appointment. The only reason I'm even on is because this morning somebody contacted my office and said that there was a board meeting and this proposal was going to be considered by the board, and I was, available to make any, answer any questions that you guys might have. I believe that based on the pandemic as currently is situated, having an anchor tenant at that location that is going to provide fresh produce and meats to this community would be
Mr. Garbus,
not only
Mr.
to the
Garbus.
village, but the community itself, and
Mr.
generate
Garbus.
sales taxes that would be sorely needed right now, especially with
Mr. Garbus.
90% of the businesses out of commission based on the governor's orders.
Mr. Garbus, do you have Administrator Scott's phone number?
I can get it. That's not a problem. I just wanted to make myself available for this meeting just to make sure that you guys can answer or ask whatever questions are necessary so we can try to speed this thing up and not delay this any further.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Okay, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Thank you for coming on, Dan. I appreciate it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Trustee Brown? I'm sorry, that was
Trustee Denton.
Trustee Denton. Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Mayor,
I'm sorry.
I'm still here.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not. I should let you do that. Hello, everyone. All right, one more time. Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Thank you. Trustee Steve.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Holmes, not there. Okay. Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Motion adjourned. Thank you all for joining.
I had to wait 2 hours to do that.